Hey everyone, welcome to Happy Gaijin. This is not my normal setup. I'm gonna explain. First of all, I am jet lagged. You know how it goes. Ninja Monkey, Happy Gaijin doesn't really do that great with jet lag. Um, it is what it is. But first of all, thank you so much, Cliff, for your coffee money. I have my Coke here at the ready. I don't know how long I'm gonna even survive this stream. But yeah, we're here. We're good. And I hope that everyone else is good. Hey Bojo, how are you doing? Thanks for being here, Bojo. And I'm sure there's some other people that will slowly come in. But yeah, it is very strange jet lag, isn't it? It's one of those super strange things because a little echo. Let me check here. Check why. Well, why would there be a little echo? Microphone. No, I only have one mic source. So maybe it's just because we are in a different location. I'm actually streaming from my living room from my laptop. No fancy setup. I feel like I'm on a Zoom call with you guys because I don't have access to where I normally stream from because they're doing works on all the flood that I had over Christmas, and basically there's the mess all over the house. But hopefully it means that by this time next week everything will be nice and clean and back to normal, and I'll be a much happier Gaijin. So hello there, Paolo. How are you doing? The echo was you. Okay, good, good, good. Artorias, how you doing? Gold Coast, hi Nathan and Monkey Crew. We're all doing good here. I was just gonna say how strange jet lag is because I arrived on a Sunday and it's now sorry, I arrived on Monday. It's now Wednesday, so really it's like the second day of jet lag. Um, but I felt that the first 2 days, or when I arrived on the following day, I was doing pretty well, but I always hit this wall on day three. It's like my normal sort of jet lag wall. Day three, I hit this wall and I feel much worse than the previous 2 days. I don't know if anybody feels the same way or if anybody has that similar experience. Um, but yeah, I hit a wall. So there are a lot of things that I've been doing recently as a result of traveling to Japan so often, multiple times a year. I've sort of started procedures to help me with jet lag and to help me survive, especially survive an economy flight. I actually flew from Tokyo to Munich with Anna. And boy, oh boy, Anna seats are just fantastic. Seriously. Like, Anna seats are incredible. So my Swiss Air flight was pretty good from Zurich to Tokyo. I'm not gonna lie, Swiss Air, pretty good airline, very punctual and not bad at all. The seats are not as spacious as the Anna seats. That is just one thing that I need to say. But Anna was yeah, Anna is something. When it comes to seat configuration, it was free in economy, and the amount of space that I had was pretty good. I can't lie. Um, so yeah, Anna is a yeah. Oh my god. Yes, Anna is too pricey compared to Cathay. You know what happens? That when it comes to prices, because it's like what do you call them? It was a code share. This is the key. Sometimes you just need to look for the code share. So it was a Lufthansa flight operated by Anna. So that's a tip there. I took Anna from New York City to Tokyo in premium economy. Oh my God, that must have been freaking something. Hey, Dan? I mean, normal economy is pretty good. Are you a front of plane or a back of plane booker? Blue sky, that's a really good question. I'm usually a wing person. I like to put myself in the middle of the plane and I like to put myself on the wing or around the wing area just because that is just one of the places where you're gonna have less turbulence. You're gonna have less or turbulence affect you less generally. This time round, because I was assigned not a very great seat. I changed it, and the only like window seat that was available was towards the back, like only 3 or 4 rows from the very, very back of the plane. And that meant that I did feel quite a bit of turbulence at some points during during the flight. You got lounge access also. That's pretty cool. Good evening, Gerald. How you doing? The wing for the win. Yes, yes, yes. I think the sweet spot for me is the wing. Definitely, definitely. Maybe not the best for views out of the window because if you sometimes get the wing, all you see is the wing, you know. But hey, who's gonna be staring out of the window, for for the entirety of their flight, right? I'd say. So yeah, what I was gonna say is that the few things that I do to try to, well, maybe not, I wouldn't say to fight jet lag, but maybe to survive the economy flight is on the day of my flight, I tend to wake up very early in the morning, as early as I can. And that day, I actually got up at 6 in the morning and I did a live stream and I walked from Ueno to Skytree via Asakusa. So that was quite a walk, really. And the idea is to basically exhaust myself so that when I'm on the flight, I am so tired that I will sleep. Yeah. So that is my game plan starts before I even go on the flight in the morning. Then the second thing is I try to make sure that I book myself a late night flight so that I'm flying overnight so that I am tired and I can sleep on the plane, which is exactly what I did. My flight was at 11:05, I think, or 10:55 p.m. There's various like positives for getting a late night flight. Number one, it should in theory be easier to sleep, and number two, you get an extra day in your destination because really, I didn't leave for the airport till 7:30, so I pretty much had like a whole additional day. Then when I'm on the plane, oh sorry, because it's a flight. Usually, what I do is I eat at the airport. I get myself a good meal at the airport, and when I'm on the plane, I tell the person next to me not to wake me up for the first meal service because if I'm sleeping, sorry, because I make sure to try to sleep as quickly as I can. I find that if you wait for the meal service, it's a midnight meal service. You wait, you eat, it wakes you up, and then it just sort of like screws everything up for sleeping on the plane. So it's a bit sad that I sort of missed that first meal, but it's a tactic that I think works very well. I'd rather spend a little bit of money in the airport to eat and not have to worry about that first meal at midnight and try to sleep straight away. Number two, I change the my time to the time of the destination. So in this case, from Tokyo to Europe, I changed it to European time before I even took off. And that basically means that I can sort of like adjust my schedule of what I do according to that time. So if wasn't able to sleep a lot, I would keep an eye on the on my European time or my Japan time and try to sleep at an appropriate time for that time zone. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm usually a back of plane booker to try and get the free seat next to me. Good one. Well, it's I find that the Japan flights are always so full. So full, usually. Every seat is fine. I'm so sorry about the yawning. But this is the truth of jet lag. Every seat is fine as long as you don't have to endure crying children for almost 12 hours straight. The narrow bodies, I don't bother picking a seat anymore. Yeah, I mean, for those shorter trips, yeah, the same thing. Hi, back in the clay. Our man in Gibraltar is back. Yeah, it's kind of sad. Yeah, miss out on the aeroplane food. Yeah, but I'd rather sleep. I'd just rather get some shut eye and hopefully sleep, for a few hours because it makes such a big change. JJI, how are you getting on? I am so freaking tired. I'm trying to stay awake. It's not real. I can never sleep on the plane, but then I have time to watch some shows. Last time I watched the whole Shogun miniseries. Actually, you know what? The really ironic and really weird thing is probably one of the weirdest things that's ever happened to me on a flight is I flew from Tokyo to Munich and I watched towards the end of my flight I watched the movie called Conclave. And that movie, Conclave, is about what happens when the Pope dies and the how they select the new Pope. But it's a drama. I recommend it. It's quite an interesting movie, and the acting is very good, and it's very interesting. So I watched that movie, and then when I landed, I had a 3 hour layover. So I went on my phone. I was browsing a few things on the internet, and boom, behold, the Pope had died, and it was really surreal because I had just literally just watched the movie about what happens when the Pope dies, and then I see the headlines that the Pope had died, unfortunately, and could I actually like that Pope, and basically it was one of those moments that was very weird because I literally just seen that movie. I am tired, man. Woke up 3:30. It's now 8:30, and I'm struggling. I know, dude. This is. I was toying with the idea of not doing a live stream. To be honest, I was toying with that idea, but then I thought if I don't do a live stream, I'm just gonna fall asleep. So yeah, I remember that movie, by the way. If you are all interested in some of our friends that are content creators, we have Back in the Clay here. Check his channel out, and obviously we have Japan Ichiban, who's been putting out some really really nice content on Instagram and on Facebook. Um, I especially like the Togoshi Ginza. You went to Togoshi Ginza, right? Stuff that you've been putting from that area. That area is right. Am I not right? I envy people who can sleep on a plane. No matter how tired I get, I cannot sleep on planes. You know what I found, Artorias, that I used to be one of those people that couldn't sleep on planes, but I think it's one of those things that you just need to practice. The more you do it, the the more your body sort of becomes accustomed to sleeping in on a plane. And now I feel that I can sleep on planes, and in the past I wasn't able to. But I also try to I also, I'm not gonna lie, I do take a little bit like of a sleeping pill to try to help me sleep a little bit. Togoshigins is lovely. I went there because it was one of your videos. I know, thank you so much for going. I mean, I think that all of those locations, you should check out because if you like Togoshi Ginza, you're gonna like pretty much all the locations that I mentioned. And you also went to Jujo, and I think you also enjoyed Jujo, right? So yeah, it's really cool. This is what I love about Tokyo, that it's just like never ending little pockets of different things to check out, right? It's that sort of city, little pockets of areas to check out, for sure, for certain. So I've actually just put out a short right now, well, like maybe half an hour ago. And it's doing really well, like super well. I'm like kind of shocked how well it's doing. It's basically like what happens, like walking around Japan with your trash, and when you finally find a bin, a rubbish bin, or a trash can. If you're in America, you're gonna say trash can. We just say bin, but I say rubbish bin in that video just to make it clear what I'm talking about. Check out that short. I put it on TikTok. I put it on Instagram also, and I also put it on YouTube, obviously. But I think it's a little series I'm sort of like experimenting with this whole like like when you it's 3 in the morning and you're hungry, you go to the conveni, angelic noises, when you find the world's largest gachapon, when you find a trash can, like that sort of thing. Jet lag, gaijin, indeed, dude. Um, I take I take something else, but sometimes I take melatonin. Um, like for example, now I'll take melatonin. I'm not going to take melatonin right now, or I'll fall asleep on stream. That might be kind of funny though. But after the stream, I'll take melatonin to help me sleep and get myself back into the rhythm. And I haven't had any melatonin yet because I had run out. So I've bought some today to have for tonight. So hopefully it will mean that it will give me that better rest. Hopefully it will mean that I can actually sleep till 7:30 or 7 in the morning when I normally wake up for work. But I've been waking up at 4 in the morning. Jujo is cool. Nice guy there. Yeah, did you go to that retro store? That retro store is pretty cool. Howdy Nathan, Monkey Crew. Hope all is well. All is well apart from the knackeredness. Ooh, and I bought a new. Okay, I'm gonna tell you another story. Um, so Haneda Terminal 2 is on another level. This is like the third time that I fly with Haneda Terminal 2. And it is the airport of the future. I kid you not. I promise. Who here has flown Haneda Terminal 2? I honestly think that they are like on the forefront of checking in, on the forefront of everything. It's just so beautiful. It feels like you're in the future. Everything is white and glowing, and there's loads and loads of kiosks. You check your own baggage in. You then scan your face and then you walk around the airport without having to show your boarding pass or your passport anymore, because it just basically uses your face to let you through all the different areas, which is pretty darn incredible. Terminal 2 is incredible. Um, I mean, forget about Terminal 3. Haneda Terminal 3 can be a nightmare. The security can be a nightmare. The long queues can be a nightmare. Depends on the time. Although they are pretty good. Terminal 3, Haneda are pretty good at fixing issues. I've seen very, very long queues in Haneda, and I thought to myself, oh my God, that queue for security is just ridiculous. And within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, they've all come and they've sorted it out, and they've like put more staff in, and they fixed the issue straight away in Haneda. But Terminal 2 was just freaking amaze balls, I swear. So much so that it's so seamless, so seamless that I have a neck pillow. I should have left. I'm gonna have to show you on the Sunday stream. I'll bring you out for Sunday. Hopefully, I remember. So I usually have a neck pillow. It's that's the other thing with flying. You need to try and get your procedures, like the way that you do things. And I always have a neck pillow. It's a new thing for me because it means that I can change the position, put it against the wall of the aircraft in whatever position, and then I have the pillow and I hug the pillow. I don't know. I'm a little bit of a pillow hugger. The pillow that the airline gives me, I use to hug, and then the neck pillow I use as a pillow to try to sleep. So Anna at Terminal 2 are so convenient and so efficient that I forgot to take out my neck pillow, which was in the front pocket of my main luggage that I was checking in all by myself. That's to start with. So I was, as it was going through, I went, "Oh no, no!" But it was too late. It was long gone. So I ended up buying myself another one. This is the thing. It was a little bit expensive, a bit of an expensive purchase, but it was a Snorlax one. So now I have a Snorlax neck pillow, and it has this little thing that goes over and it covers your head, and you got little ears, Snorlax ears. So yeah. Once I started wearing earplugs, I was able to sleep on planes. Bojo, yeah, like I said, everyone has their strategy, their way of doing things, and I think that I'm slowly creating this strategy of changing the time, tiring myself out, eating before the flight, not worrying. Because the thing is that when you eat before, if it's a late night flight, if you eat at the airport, it just means that you have one less thing to worry about, you know? And that's a fact. So you should create a game, rubbish bin bingo. How would that work? Oh yeah, I guess that every time that you see a rubbish bin, yeah. Haneda is the best. Haneda Terminal 2. I love it too. I only come through Haneda. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I went through Narita on the way in, and it was far worse. Far, like ridiculously worse than Haneda. I've gone through Haneda when Haneda's been bad. But Narita on my flight in was absolutely appalling, like ridiculous. Thankfully, I ran to the, well, as fast as I could to the front of the line, and I still had to wait 40 minutes to get through. But this is not a complaint, this is just a comparison. And also, it's important to note that it just depends on what time you fly. Depends how many airplanes are arriving at the same time. The same thing could happen in Haneda. The same thing could happen in other airports. No hangovers, but I'm stuff. I can't even read it, dude. I'm suffering with jet lag like Nathan. We had a big layover in China. So our trip was 32 hours door to door. My goodness. I walked into my house, opened my laptop, and started working immediately. Oh my God. It's funny because that's just normal in New Zealand. What's normal? How was Beijing? We need to talk about that at some point. Neck pillow is actually opposite of the way people use it. I don't think so. I think neck pillows are however the hell you want to use it. There's no rule of how to use a neck pillow. Snorlax neck pillow. Show me, show me, show me. Okay. You really want me to show you? Hold on. Let me just. I need to. You're not gonna see anything. Actually, you know what? I discovered something. I'm gonna take you to an ad break whilst I get my Snorlax pillow. Okay, so wait a minute, wait a minute. How do I do this? I'm gonna start an ad break. Take a break for 1 minute. Okay, no ads. I don't know what I've done then. 11 and break. Okay, we're back. We're back. We're back. Are we back? As an American, I say bin, and my friend and my family look at me like, "What are you saying exactly?" Never had to wait more than 20 minutes in Narita. Dude, this was like 1.5 hours in total. It was ridiculous. I've been to Narita and the security queue was all the way around the building. and 3 layers deep. Like I said, it just depends when. Last time I read iFlight came into Canada, we were the only flight to get there before 6 a.m. That's so nice. Most people put the neck pillow gap at the front, but it's the wrong way. Like, this is the correct way. That's the correct way. I don't know, man. I think you should just put it the way you want it to. The automatic gates unchecking your own bags in Auckland. Ah, okay. I get it. I mean, Heathrow has a little bit like this, something like that, but ain't nothing like Narit. That Haneda Terminal 2 is just on another level. I swear. Oh, you don't get the ad because you have YouTube Premium. Okay. Why did I do that? Because I left the room to get my net pillow, and I didn't want to just leave like basically I didn't want to leave the camera facing the wall. So okay, let me show you this neck pillow that I got. Dude, you're gonna be so jealous of the net pillow. Wait a minute, let me put it. I mean, it was a good mistake, the fact that I left the neck pillow on in the suitcase, because I ended up buying this one. Right. So this is what the neck pillow looks like. Okay, this is what the neck pillow looks like. Like when it's in this position. And then this is what you do. You open it up and you then put the pillow around like this, and then you cover your head. Your pretty cool, right? Come on, what do you think about that, Japan? I did think about you when when I bought it. I ain't gonna lie. I actually thought you had one. Hey Ninja Gaijin, hey there Belgian, how you doing? Snorlax, nice. That's so also I know. I am very happy with this with this little. I am very happy. I mean, the gap at the back, like this, it doesn't make sense because then, I mean, I don't know. Imagine you wake up a little disorientated and the person you say next to has this on their head. Totally worth it. Come on. Totally, absolutely worth it. They sold it in the airport in Haneda terminal. Um, so then your theory then doesn't make sense because if it's supposed to be like this, then that doesn't make sense to me. But this makes sense to me. And it was the way that the picture was, by the way. I'm happy with that. That's so awesome. Yeah. In the future, airlines will wheels folding metal chairs to the deck to cram people into coach. You'll need to use that neck pillow as a butt pillow. Oh my god. Please no. Fly Hags pillow. Grade A purchase, yeah. That's so cool. It's not quite as dark as a sleeping mask, but a little bit helps. Actually, I also have a sleeping mask, and I had the sleeping mask underneath that, and it works quite well because I like to have my mouth and my nose free, you know. So yeah, some people put it on the side. I mean, one of the things that I do is I sort of put it like I position it and I put it like this. I put both of them to make it into a pillow so I can sleep like that. Sometimes I put it like that. But it all depends on your like the position of your seat also, I think. I think they should invent a plane that has seating like a capsule hotel. It would be more space efficient and everyone could sleep if they wanted to. Oh my god. Yes. Suffocated is bad indeed. Ryanair tried to introduce standing seats. I don't think they got approved. They tried. They did try. They did try. I don't think they get approved. They got like safety approval. Can you imagine? But it was like sort of like leaning seats. I saw the concept. You had to lean. Oh my goodness, that would be horrendous, I think. Having to lean, like horrendous. So yeah, I met up with Alan, Japanese Japan, for those of you who don't know who he is. And I also met up with Daniel, and I also met up with Luke. The three of us met up, and we had a great trip. Now, Saika is here, and I've been waiting, hoping that Saika will be here, because thank you so much, Saika and family, for your awesome box of goodies that you sent me here in Gibraltar. And I wanted to show off the things that I was given by Psyche, if it's okay with you, by the way, and I also wanted to say that I ate the popcorn already. Sorry, I was gonna wait, but it was way too delicious. Hold on, let me just right. Let me the box ready, and I'm gonna send you all to another break whilst I wake, just whilst I sort this out. How do this? Start a break. If you have premium YouTube, you won't see this. Okay, we are back. So I discovered this. Hey, Jim! Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you. Oh my God, you ate the whole bag already? Absolutely. It was delicious. So, Saika sent me this. I just want to make sure that my address isn't showing. But sent me this box of incredible goodies from Colorado, right? Check it out. I have some. They look like Maltesers. This is gonna probably be my next sort of like thing that I'm gonna devour. I also got some nut and fruit. What is it? I don't even know what this mints. Are these mints? Ooh, I like mints. I might actually put some in my for my lunch for tomorrow. Actually, then the popcorn, which I ate already. Then we have some apple spice herbal tea, which I'm also looking forward to because I do like tea, and it's caffeine free. That's pretty cool. And then what I don't know what this is. Cinna Pix, feel the heat. Can you explain to me what this is and what I have to do with it? Because I was trying to figure it out. Also, we've got some stickers which I need to figure out where I'm going to put them. I like stickers. Pretty nice, awesome little stickers. Yay! And some everything but the bagels um seasoning blends, which I'm gonna figure out how to use it and where to use it. And finally, some candles that smell incredible. Actually, they smell really good. I was smelling them earlier. Ah, oh, they smell so good. So yeah, ooh, so yeah, what is this? It's oh, milk and chocolate. Wait a minute. This is cinnamon toothpicks. Ah, the toothpicks. Oh, cool. I've never seen that in my life. Cinnamon toothpicks. All right. I thought it was like a nasal thing. Thank you so much. Arigato gozaimasu. Oh yeah, and obviously thank you so much for your lovely, lovely words that you wrote in the card. Much appreciated. Sorry, let's get back to Travel Channel. How are you doing? Sorry, is it just me? The flight over is no problem, but the flight coming home, I'm jet lagged for almost a week. It is not just only you, it is definitely me. And what I'm finding is that day one and day two of jet lag are bearable, but day three, I hit a wall. The same for Japan, Japan, Ichiban. Do, 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 do. Do I have a PO box? I do have a PO box. I do have a PO box. If people ask me, I don't generally sort of like advertise it, but if you're interested in my PO box, you can ask me and I'll send it to you in a private message. Um, I'm interested about the cinnamon toothpicks. Ooh, not intended for nasal use. I thought it was for like Vicks, like cinnamon Vicks. Toothpicks. The force you tell the truth. Takes me forever to recover from the return trip. Yeah, and you know what? It's just one of those things that just doesn't get any better. Like, how often do I freaking fly to Japan and I always feel like death on the third day of um of jet lag. I know that tomorrow I'll feel better, and also tomorrow I'm gonna go to the gym after work. So that should hopefully also like get my blood circulating. Going to Japan, I hit the ground running. When I get back to LA, around half a day back, I crash on the bed for a good while. I end up living on Tokyo time, which doesn't work good in Alberta. I noticed that, by the way, Jim. I've noticed how you sort of living in Tokyo time. Hey, just roaming around. How you doing? Just roaming around. Oh. I've never had jet lag in the 3 years I've gone to Japan. That's weird. Rider, where are you located? Oh my goodness. The tiredness is true. These malt balls. Well, I've got Tokyo banana so that I brought over. I need to put in the freezer. Actually, let's try some of these malt chocolate malt milk balls. 'Cause these look like Maltesers. We have Maltesers, but they look like they're on like by the way, these bags are impossible to open. Oh, this one's not too bad. Do do do. Mm, it's like a Malteser on crack. Wow, wow. I mean, I have to admit, you Americans, you know how to do junk food and snacks. Wow. Mm, California, okay. Infused with cinnamon flavor. Cool. Yeah, the seal of the popcorn was impossible. Back when I was younger, the morning I got off the plane, I went to work, stood out, threw it, and fell asleep as soon as I drove home. Oh, yeah. I'm loving the snacks. I am. I was supposed to start dieting. Well, not dieting, but eating healthy this week. But I will devour this. I might have to share some with some of my friends. When did you get back? Did I miss that part of the chat already? I got back on Monday afternoon, and obviously it's day 2.5 of jet lag, and it sucks. That's why we're the biggest, fattest people on earth. I don't know, man. There's quite a few big fat people where I live too. Just saying. Those, I know this sounds odd, but those balls look, they're freaking good. I mean, it's 10 p.m. now, so I'm sort of not gonna like eat anymore because then I'm gonna end up with nightmares. I don't know if you guys have this, like when I have too much chocolate before going to bed, I end up having nightmares. So I try not to. Yeah, I had a really, really good trip in Tokyo, I must admit. I got most of the things that I wanted to get done. Apart from I was initially gonna go to Nagano for cherry blossoms, but then when I was in Tokyo, I just decided, you know what? It's not worth the money to go all the way to Nagano for cherry blossoms. I've seen cherry blossoms plenty. I just had to resign to the fact that I missed the cherry blossoms. It was what it was. Um, and hopefully in the future or next year, hopefully I'll be able to get back to Japan during Sakura period because Sakura is very, very beautiful, obviously. Um, so yeah, I hang out with a load of people. I hang out, like I said, with Japan Ichiban, with Luke, with Daniel. I hang out with Alyssa a few times. Actually, not as much as I usually do. I usually hang out with Alyssa with Oriental Pearl quite a bit because she's got a lot of free time in her hands, and we sort of mutually help each other film stuff. That's the kind of thing that we do. But she had her own things going. So and then she went to Fukuoka to film something. So I didn't really see her that much. Um, what else? Who else did I meet? I feel like I met somebody else whilst I was there. Oh, and I also met this Nico from the Red Value, the channel The Red Value. It was really nice meeting him also. Nice guy. We were gonna try to film something. It didn't really work out the way that I wanted to. It's not gonna be a video, unfortunately, I don't think. But he's filmed for his channel. So I'll make sure to promote his video. My sister has that too, eating too much chocolate. Yeah, but my dreams are wild, like wild. What do you think about the two-tier system Japan wants to implement for tourists? Will it hurt tourism? Rider, I think first of all, Japan does not want to introduce a two-tier system. Some places want to do it, but it's not Japan as a whole. It's a handful of places that want to introduce a two-tier system. And also, a lot of these two-tier systems are not just for international tourists, but also for domestic tourism. For example, Himeji, um, as from next year, will be introducing two prices, one for tourists, one for residents of Himeji. And tourists include Japanese tourists. That's one system. Though Junglia in Okinawa, I think is doing it differently. They're having one price for Japanese and one price for foreigners, as far as I remember, or maybe it was domestic tourists too. Um, but I do feel that it's something that's coming. It's inevitable. It's something that we're gonna see more of, but I just don't think it's gonna be as widespread and as you know as impactful as maybe social media and articles and the news and make it out to be. Maybe in 5 years' time, maybe in 10 years' time, when there's more and more and more places doing it, it will be something that will be really impactful. But at the moment, it just seems to be a very, very um like localized um areas or things that might have two-tier pricings. My thoughts. Chocolate is caffeine and sugar, not good for sleep. Indeed. Indeed. This is why maybe that no more of those balls because I need to sleep tonight properly. Night Terrace, yeah, I bought my first MacBook Air day before Easter, just in case the prices get too high. Ooh, yeah, you guys are gonna have some interesting pricing there, yeah? Did I get any cherry treats? I tried a few cherry things whilst I was there. What did I have? Mm, I did have a few like cherry drinks. I had a cherry cocktail at one point. I had a cherry treat. But like I said, like as I knew, I sort of, I didn't plan for cherry blossoms, basically. So are those edibles? Are they edibles? I've got cherry blossoms in my backyard. Wow. And in 2 weeks I'll be cruising, um, cursing the cleanup. Oh my God, I can imagine. Cheese before bed is what gives me nightmares. Yeah, cheese also, but chocolate more than cheese for me. Chocolate more than cheese. I get nightmares drinking caffeine before bed. I don't have too much problems drinking caffeine. I'm just one of those people that has that caffeine doesn't affect them too much. My cat's clawing at the bedroom door, dead of night, gives me nightmares. I can imagine. Oh my God. Ugh. The price of locals and schools, I think, is totally fine. I don't like the Japanese and foreigner prices. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, to be honest, I think that the simple solution here is that they have a local instead of having two separate prices, they should just have a local discount because psychologically it just feels different. You see like a price for tourists and a price for locals, you gonna sort of go like, "Oh my God, they're ripping us off," you know? But if you see one price and there's a local discount, it feels different, you know? Anyway, that's what I think. So we have 11 weeks until my next trip to Japan, guys. And I've got a feeling that the chat has fallen asleep. So that was just bad publicity. That sounds like a great idea. Yeah, they want to do that local pricing discounts. There have been talks that Japan are thinking of introduce new laws if you earn money streaming that you may need to apply for work, business, or nomad visa when entering Japan. Well, if that's the case, I won't stream anymore. Um, I haven't heard that at all. I mean, and if you have heard that, I would love it if you could, share with me my any links or information. I know that Japan is looking at tightening app nuisance laws for streaming. That for sure. But it might be very difficult to police that. Southern California residents have a discount for Disneyland. You see, that's different. A discount is different to a two-tier price. It's the same thing, but it's different. Oh, you know what? Legal mindset. Take a few. I like the guy. I like what he's doing, but he is hyper exaggerated. He exaggerates everything times 100 million. Like he's making money obviously out of this whole Johnny Somali and the whole nuisance streamer thing, but he's just like whacking the same drum over and over and over again, and each time it's getting louder and louder and louder. Um, and I would personally take what he says with a pinch of salt. I know that he's a lawyer and everything, but I would take what he says with a pinch of salt. He's definitely exaggerating loads of things. Like, do I pay taxes for YouTube to the US? I do, and I also pay taxes here in my home. I am double taxed when it comes to YouTube and Rider. Basically, the way that it works is that YouTube withholds my US tax, but only for my US viewers, not for all my viewers. So basically, only my US viewers, as far as I'm aware. And whenever you have to have a YouTube, do you have to pay taxes to the country you're living? Yep. Well, you're supposed to. Some people don't. I do. I've had to register a business. I've had to register a business so that I can pay tax because I want to make sure that I do everything correctly. So, and YouTube automatically deducts the tax anyway from their side, and then um I have to then when I at the end of the tax year I need to put any earnings. Not that there's not that there's a lot of earnings, but I have to put my earnings and anything that's tax deductible, um equipment or whatever. So, but yeah, of course, if you're earning money, you should pay tax. It's the right thing to do, whether you agree or whether you don't agree with taxes. It's follow the law. Follow the law, guys. But yeah, I mean, I don't know much about this whole US tax withholding thing. Somebody told me that I could get that released, those funds released, but I've never figured out how to do that. Like, no idea. Didn't know you had been double taxed. Yeah, yeah, to a certain degree, yeah. It's a bit crazy. If they introduced a law paid influencer work visa, I just wouldn't go. I think that goes too far. Um, I don't think it's gonna happen, guys. I think there'll be laws that will be more geared to just being a nuisance, not even to streaming. But like I said, there's been a lot of talk about nuisance streamers. But to be honest, to be totally honest, as annoying as these nuisance streamers are, and they freaking are annoying, and they do potentially, tarnish and give good people a bad reputation through association just because it's streaming. In reality, you got to think of it this way: it's a handful of people, a handful of people. Like you could count the nuisance streamers in one hand that are in Japan. And do you think they're gonna Do you think it's worth it for those for just a handful? I think that what needs to be happening here is that the platforms should be policing nuisance streamers and kicking them out. And maybe that's something that countries should be sort of like pushing platforms to do. You get tired too. Have you seen less streamers or more streamers since the incident? It's 5% of streamers. It's not so bad. To be honest, I've mentioned this before. I actually think that the only people that care about nuisance streamers are white people like us, Western people, not just white people, okay, but Westerners. But it's Gaijin pointing the finger at Gaijin. As bad as they are, and as much as I hate them, the reality is that people don't care. Generally, maybe they care at the moment. In the moment when it happens, it might make the news, but then people forget and people don't care. The only people that keep on caring is us. You don't tend to see or hear Japanese people talking about Johnny Somali. When it happened, when Johnny Somali was in Japan, yes, of course, because he was a freaking idiot. But he's long gone and people don't care. But we just keep on talking about it, and now obviously I think it's different because the spotlight is on him. He is under investigation, he's going to court and all that, so it's a whole different thing at the moment because he is going to court in Korea. I don't even know how that's going, but the reality is that it is a minimal amount of streamers that are spoiling it for everybody else. Yes, they are, but the reality is that it's not having any effect on everyone else who streams correctly, who streams nicely. Maybe it gets into your psyche as you're streaming, as you walk around, you start worrying a little bit, but ultimately I don't see any differences. 95% of streamers are just entertaining and being informative. Indeed. It's always a few spoiling things for the many. I don't care. I behave most of the time. Indeed. I guess we just get embarrassed by the association, but there is no association because the majority, 95%, 99% of people can't even associate it because they don't know that it's happened. If that you see what I'm saying here? Um, that basically, yeah. I've heard that there's more stealing of things in Japan. Do you think crime is rising? Probably. I mean, there's lots of things that might be happening. It's not the streamers more, the tourists who doesn't care. Yeah. But yeah, I did watch part of Legal Mindset's live stream earlier today, and he was mentioning something. It was just for me, it was sensationalist. There was nothing backing it. It was just him saying it. Like, give me the sources. Where you getting this from? White people, I know. I said white people. I can't believe it. What an idiot I am. Stupid. But I'm referring to me, to myself in that situation. But yeah. Oh boy. The jet lag is more real than I can imagine. I am now officially falling asleep. Maybe tonight I'll sleep with this Snorlax. What do you think? Would you get one of these? I mean, it would be pretty cool to have a little camera to record people's oh, to record people's thingy, like people's reactions. Were you more cautious streaming than you are normally when you're in Japan? Um, to be honest, probably just because first of all, I'm always cautious, always to start with. Um, and secondly, I think that it has got into my psyche a little bit. It has got into my head a little bit. This whole thing, but the more I analyze it, the more I realize that people don't really know. Like, and ultimately, the stores I always ask, can I stream? They'll say yes. They say no. They say no. That's what. Nothing has changed. Before like Johnny Simala Gate and used to the streamer gate, still used to ask, can I stream? And some places would say no, and some places would say yes. So nothing's changed. And now I do exactly the same thing. I ask exactly the same thing. So do they have a CPAP compatible version? I have no idea. Snorlax is your favorite Pokemon. Is it comfy? It is actually. It's very comfy. Has the increase in tourists and crowd numbers changed how you travel within Japan? Which places you choose to visit? Um, hmm, that's a very good question, actually. I think that generally, when it comes to over tourism, I think that the crowds can be wild in certain places. You could be in Kyoto in one street and it can be wild, but then you just have to walk two streets away and it's quiet. The same with Asakusa, with the whole temple complex. That main street, shopping street, is wild, but you just walk one alley to the side, parallel, and there's hardly anyone. And I think that if anything, it hasn't changed how I travel. It hasn't changed where I go to, but it's made me more aware of getting to places around tourists, like not having to walk through the crowds. Also I do feel that like places like Europe, specifically places like Barcelona, London, I was reading something about Rome being crazy and Paris being crazy. Those places are places that I've traveled to, and I feel that Europe as a whole, tourist locations in Europe are very, very crowded. Anyway, I just think that it's become normalized in Europe, even though there are issues. It's sort of become more normalized, and people are more used to tourists. And I think that maybe in Japan at the moment, it's a little bit of a teething problem. A lot of Japanese people are just not used to tourists yet. A lot of Japanese people are just not used to the crowds of tourists. Does it mean that it's that there's over tourism? I don't know. Or does it mean that simply there hasn't been the adjustment period is still ongoing, if that makes any sense? Did you ever go to a place where they say no and they let somebody else stream? No, because it's very, very rare to see another streamer, to be honest. Good night, good night, good night. I'm gonna go to bed very soon also. Yeah, last November, my friend whose mum in Korea said she didn't know anything about Johnny's case. There you go. Back in the clay. I mean, we are hyper. I mean, it's understandable. We are people of the internets. We are people who are interested in Japan. We are people who are interested in social media and YouTube and that sort of culture. So obviously, we're gonna gravitate to that sort of news. But a lot of people just are not us. Hey, Saika, don't worry. Enjoy your meeting. I guess it's all in your timing to go to those places when it gets overcrowded. Yes, that too. The rest of the temple complex, even away from the pagoda in Asakura, is practically empty. Indeed, yes. Um, Nathan is a ninja gliding through the crowds. I don't know, man. I don't do gliding very well. I don't think it's over tourism. I think that they're just not set up for it because they're not used to it. I think it probably is a little bit of both. Um, but I think it's a lot of basically not being used to it also. Good night, back in the clay. It's only really over tourism in Kyoto. I think Tokyo can handle it with its train system. Um, Maybe like I said, over tourism. There's some very beautiful spots people want to go to. Social media doesn't help. A lot, it's a little bit of everything, really. Same thing in Kyoto. A block away from the Geisha Street, there's no one indeed. There's still a whole lot of Kyoto that anyone visits indeed. And like I was gonna say, I wanted to say two things, and that is that currently Hannah, which I really like her stuff by the way, her channel, she did a video recently, although I think it was a little bit of an unfair comparison, I have to be honest, where she compares like tourist places in 2022 with now. You know, the crowds from back then with now, which I think is very unfair because in 2022 the borders were pretty much closed or they just reopened, and tourism had, if anything, um, that's a very unfair comparison. It would have been much better if the footage would have been from 2019, for a more like fair comparison of what it was before compared to now. Um, but really interesting video, still worth the watch. And also, I just wanted to also bring up a topic that's been on my mind for the last, well, for a while, and that is my friend Drew, Tokyo Drew. As a lot of you know, in the last year or so, I became more close to him. I met up with him quite a lot, hung out with him quite a bit. Um, I've been on some of his streams, and in February I met up with him. Unfortunately, for the last time, um, yeah, unfortunately, Drew isn't doing very well, and unfortunately, it's very difficult. But yeah, like for me, Tokyo is not gonna be the same. I'm gonna have one less person to hang out with, one less person to talk to when I'm there, and it's been hard to see a friend go through what he's gone through. And it's been hard to just see him fizzle. And I just wanted to give a little bit of an update for those of you who have followed his channel, watch his channel, that he's not doing very well, and that it's just a waiting game now, really. And I just wanted to just say that that I just can't even say it, to be honest. Just wanted to just let everyone know what's going on there, and just keep him in your prayers, please. And he has his son is here from Canada, and I'm sure that any sort of positive message, even on his Patreon, you can join for free. to get updates, and you can write comments his son will read, and yeah, he won't be forgotten by me. Like I said, I feel that I was very lucky that in February I met up with him. I spent quite a bit of time with him in February one day, and we filmed for the smoking video. He gave the tour of the smoking vending machine, and but deep inside, I sort of knew when I said bye to him, I felt like I was saying bye, you know. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to update you all, and yeah. So sorry for the change in tone, but yeah, it is just live life, enjoy, and make time for your friends, guys. Make time for your family because you just never know. Anyway, I'm gonna leave you all there, and I just ask you to please keep Drew in your prayers and in your mind, and and I'm sure that by anyway, I'm gonna say good night here, and yeah, yeah, right. Good night, everyone.